Hey designers, we're taking a break to talk about Design Live.
Design Live by Squeakquel is one of the design industry's leading software programs for kitchen design.
You may know them better by their former name, 2020, which has been offering professional design software for over 30 years.
And Design Live is so much more than just beautiful renderings.
From complete manufacturer catalogs that are built to save you time creating your drawings, to the largest community of designers for ultimate collaboration.
Which means your projects get designed quickly and accurately.
Design Live is developed for easy collaboration, and it integrates with the other systems to make quoting smoother and clients happier.
Book a demo with an expert today at singly.com/HYDC and save $200 on Design Live using coupon code HOTPOD200 until August 31st, 2024.
That's CYNCLY.com/HYDC.
Welcome to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
I'm Rebecca Plum, your big sister.
And I'm Shaun, your GBF.
We're not that hot or that young,
but we believe it's a state of mind that helps us build adaptable and profitable businesses.
We rely on the support of our design besties to get through each day.
So let's explore the emotional, practical, and humorous sides of being interior designers.
Welcome to the club. Hey, Shaun.
What's up, Rebecca?
It's our perennial favorite. It's really just our way of having a cute complaining session.
Oh, the Just Stops are the ones we get the most comments about from people. And it's like the thing to do to have opinions now.
Well, we can't just be negative Nancy's all the time. So
yeah. I mean, we could, but we're not going to do that.
I mean, maybe we do. So, little just housekeeping. What's new and exciting?
I mean, blessed, stressed, overbooked. You mean?
Yes.
You mean personally speaking?
All of the things. Well, for the show, we are going to be in High Point next month.
Oh my God.
It's already fall, y'all.
Oh my God. It's so fast. It's basically October. Okay, it's Christmas. Like,
it's 2025. I mean,
blink.
That's just like survive to 2025 is my current motto. So
don't blink, everybody. Yeah, we'll be at High Point, and our hotspot tour with High Point is on Saturday, October 26th. You can find details about that stuff on our blog or in our link in bio.
It's free, so please, please, please. We would love to see you.
Yeah, come and talk trash with us in person. Come and tell us your Just Stops in person.
Yeah.
And steal snacks from the showrooms in person.
And make friends.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like we're just like coming out of summer and the summer survival has been real. So I don't know. I don't know if we got a lot of extra housekeeping stuff to share. We've been having a lot of fun on Patreon. So thank you to all our patrons and our loyal hottie supporters. If you would like to join, you can do that at patreon.com/HYDC. And we meet every month and have extra episodes over there. And I just love our monthly hangouts.
Not that I don't look forward to other stuff we do. Like we have our exclusive episodes over on the Patreon, which those are also wonderful, but we don't get those. Like those are you and I still only. So the hangouts are the ones I really look forward to the most.
Yeah, it does feel like a community is building there and it's awesome.
Yeah, join the what are we up to? Like 100 and I can't remember now. Over 100 for sure.
And then you get access to the Facebook group too, where there's even more.
Oh yeah, this week people were asking questions about insurance and prepping beds for styling and installs. Yeah. There's like a whole bunch of stuff. So that's kind of where it's nice to get a couple different designers weighing in, or a few designers are asking for like sourcing and options. And
it's not snarky. It's folks at all different levels. And if you are too shy to ask on some of the big groups where people might yell at you, that does not happen on our watch. So yeah, I mean, it's not like it's ever happened, but
it's not happened, but I wouldn't stand for it.
Correct.
Because we're both in there anyway. And then our assistant Sarah is also in there occasionally, just double checking what's going on. So
it's good. There's good folks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so personally, you're doing good? I feel like we've barely even been talking. We've both been, like, heads up our own asses.
Because we went from like vacations to summer stuff with kids to everything. And then also both of us being both overbooked for client work and deadlines at
Mhm.
the same time. So you're right. We haven't been trying to think what's the big stuff other than just I am still in the all the construction clients keeping me busy phase.
Hmm.
That's all. That's a
That's where you shine, though.
meh. If my battery was full 100%, I would be doing better. I for sure.
Yeah, I have a couple clients that are keeping me pretty busy, and I'm just in that, like, okay, but I gotta keep making sure I'm trying to get new work because there's big chasms in my future. So that's just so fun. But yeah, I've barely been able to really like do social media or any kind of like maintenance stuff. It's been really hard with my husband's new schedule and summer vacation. So school's back in. That,
Thank God.
thank the Lord, that has been a big help. But it's a season. We're in a
It's
season.
well, like season as if it won't happen again, or season just in general of
Well,
like, yep, this is the
seasons happen
normals.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
Winter comes every year,
Winter is coming.
hopefully. Yeah. Yeah, I need to like do a better job of like predicting summer in general. I think I was talking about this last time, but
Mhm.
it's it's just hard. I mean, we did have a big family change with my husband starting a new job that basically he gets like maybe 2 or 3 days off a month
Yeah.
and works really long days. So he's doing the most. We are very grateful for him, but it's just hard. So,
It's a big change too. Like
yeah.
in general, that's a huge change.
And then we really relied on him
Mhm.
to do a
Like you
lot.
do with your family. Hello, like yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he does extra for as far as I know, most husbands that I hear about, he does a lot more.
He does do a lot
I
more.
am not the default house person, so except for the decor,
But don't
which
ask about the
don't
landscaping
ask me where the broom's located because
or
I
like
don't know.
who's the last electrician who repaired something or whatever. It's a
Oh,
whole thing.
God. So I'm looking forward to, yeah, fall and just, yeah, normalcy. Virgo season's upon us.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're in like full shine during Virgo season? Is that how it works for your sign?
I don't know. Probably. Doesn't everybody?
It doesn't it depend on like
Where my moon and my
yeah,
house
that's what I was
is?
just thinking. Like, isn't it about that too? Because sometimes you're like Virgo sun is
Yeah, I don't know about the
different.
sun and moon so much. And I'm only like, yeah, I'm not a full
You're not
full
like double
Virgo.
Virgo.
No, for
Okay,
sure not.
Virgus.
Everyone who listens to this show knows that.
Everyone who's met me knows that.
I have my moments.
Yes.
But yeah, some of that we'll get into a little bit in some of our just stops. So
We should do it.
we hop into the show.
Yeah, we should do it. There's
Okay,
some good ones.
you go.
Oh, you want me to start?
Hmm.
Okay, well, let me just get this one out of the way first because it's the one I feel the most heated about. Can we just stop with the coaches basically bragging about how much money they personally make by being coaches?
Like the transparency.
Yeah, like I had $1 million month. It's like, well, fuck you, bitch. Like that, what you make isn't what I'm gonna make by working with you. Like that's not how it
Oh,
works. Like
yeah.
it doesn't make me feel like,
They're not
oh,
having interior design clients that they're trying to sell furniture to and be
yeah, I
profitable that way.
guess. And specifically, like it exists. There's like marketing coaches and branding coaches and all these other like sales coaches and then designer coaches. And I hear you. Like, I know there's valuable ones out there. I don't want to discount that. I do want to discount the ones who take the time to talk about like, last month I made $300,000. And it's like, as a coach,
Are
like,
they
talk to me about your business though. As a designer, did you make that much money? Is that
right?
a lot of money for you? Or did you eat that all with your expenses? Like, I'm just very skeptical.
I mean, there are some I like, not necessarily coaches, but I do like when people are transparent with income. I think it's really interesting and brave. Like, I would never do that. But and there are some that I see that do some transparency reports where they do show their expenses too.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a niche job. It's not
Mhm.
transferable, like, unless they're coaching coaches.
Yeah, it feels really cringy to me to hear people talking about how much. I don't know who told them all that this is a great marketing strategy. Like, even just from the let's look at
TikTok.
sales, maybe like the sales world in general, though, the whole the beginning of the pathway for any sales or marketing, whatever, is starting with like, what is your client's pain point or issue or whatever. Like, the first start of like any sales, whatever that anyone ever does, is always like, what's the thing they're experiencing? Because if you start from that, then you can speak to that and to that person and why they're experiencing it, how they're experiencing. Then eventually you get to like how your thing helps them with that.
Right.
But they're starting with, I have a lot of money. That's not, that doesn't
Oh, like they're trying to
start.
attract with how
Yeah,
much
like,
money they
I
make.
must
I
be
see.
so good that I have a bunch of people paying me all this money. That does not equal good coaching, though. Like, you could just be really good.
Or have been doing it long enough and have, like, strong SEO and other, like, factors.
Very that. Like, you could just be really good at being a snake venom salesperson.
But
That's
does
what
it mean the venom is
the
good?
venom's not doing the job necessarily, but people can just be really good at the song and dance of like acquiring business, but then not have the skill to back it up. So I think my just stop is like, we should just stop listening to what the coach or the whoever is saying they personally earn. Let's start asking, how does your
Yeah, how are
client's
the
revenue
clients doing?
change?
Yeah.
How does their profit increase? What are the case studies of the work you've actually done? Because I could convince people to pay me a lot of money to design their houses, but if the houses look like shit, I'm not good at what I do. So I need to talk about how I get to that and how I help my clients get the results they want, not how much they paid me to do it.
Right. No, that makes sense. I don't know if I follow a lot of that. The coaching thing, I think, in general is hard, and I think we're both a little burnt out on it.
I think the algorithm feeds me a lot of it, but I also feel part of me feels like there's a lot of like preying upon the insecurities.
Mhm.
I'm speaking specifically about designers. It's like preying on the insecurities of designers who aren't sure if they're doing things right, don't know how to do them right, want someone to weigh in and look at things with them and tell them how they fit into the rest of the market. And I just feel like that preys on that insecurity a lot of the time of, well, you need me to tell you that. And I don't firmly believe that that is a
I
need.
agree, and based on the work we've done in our own businesses and what we try to do here, there's just so many ways to come to the same end result, and it has to make sense to you. I mean, even between you and I, like, we use a lot of the same tools,
Yeah.
but our processes are different. Like, our
Yeah, the way
steps
we get
along the
there.
way are different because they don't make like, they make sense to us to do them the way we do them. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting, I'll try that." But a lot of times, like, "No, actually, this step in this order makes sense
For
for the
what you
way
do.
I like to communicate," or whatever.
Exactly.
So, I would be hard pressed to think that one system works for all, but
I agree.
But I do think they're a good starting point a lot of the time to get your framework started. Like, I've done that, where I started with the framework and adjusted until it fit me.
But then you weren't getting that from someone who said,
Said
pay me $6,000 a month.
no, and they also were I was listening to people who were I felt were trying to help designers, not just make money.
Themselves.
Yeah. Which
Mhm.
there's a lot of coaches that are genuinely trying to help and are coming from a good place and have good experience. So it's just kind of sussing that out for you.
Agreed. I agree. That's where I'm at though. It's like, can we just like stop hearing about how much they are making and instead just focus on what's the results that they help people get instead of them basically
Yeah, it's
bragging
a
about what
weird
they earned?
trend for sure. Like that earning trend is
It's gross.
new.
It's gross. It
Yeah.
feels it gives me a big ick for sure. So that's mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Huh.
I'll go into a personal just stop. I am like we're both embarking into new decades soon,
Yeah.
different decades. Unfortunately
Yeah,
for
I turned
me.
40 in December
And I
coming
will be
up.
50 next September. So I'm in that like ninth year of like, okay, let's get it all wrapped up. Uh,
All that deferred maintenance? Is that what
yeah,
you're
so
saying?
I'm
Okay.
saying just stop deferring maintenance. Like there's a lot of things that I mean, we all know these things. So
Yeah.
this is not new information, but if you're just like putting things off, like just stop doing that.
Mhm.
So make your routine screening appointments, like whether it's colonoscopies, mammograms,
Mhm.
do the things. Like I'm in a little bit of a catch up the last 6 months and I'm doing it. Like I feel good. Like I'm doing the things, but
Mhm.
it's just annoying. And I didn't want to for a long time.
Yeah.
So, but it does feel good to be like, okay, I'm checking things off my list
Yeah.
and spreading them out a little bit because it's easier than when you have to go to the doctor every 2 days, like a elderly person.
Yeah. Like you have to plan your whole week around your doctor's appointments instead of the
Literally.
other way around.
Yes.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that and that you're doing that because I don't think I've talked about this on the show, but my mom had stage 4 breast cancer and
Mm,
passed from it in 2007, and she was knew she had there was like a lump that she self-discovered,
mm,
but then she waited. And because she was worried and you're busy, and she didn't get a mammogram for it until months later, and then by that point it was in that case more aggressive, so that
mm.
every month and every week mattered at that stage. And I think the fear of it is what stands out for a lot of people, of just the unknown, and you feel like it's what's the big deal if I wait, but there really can be cases where the big deal is actually very urgent.
Totally. And that's what's kind of encouraging me is like, I would hate to get that news of, oh, if you'd only come in 6 months ago, like that
Yeah.
is the most devastating of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. Like, I mean,
Well,
I
thank
know
you.
your
You've
story,
heard this.
but,
I know you've heard some of it,
um,
but for the hotties, like it's that.
and she was young. Like, it's
Mhm.
not, yeah, you just never know.
Yeah.
So, and I have to go back and do more screenings, and I'm just doing the things. I made my
Yeah.
follow up appointments today that I had been putting off for a week. So, this is your encouragement to just stop making excuses and just sit down and do the appointments, line them up for the next year if you need to, whatever it is.
Like pre-schedule all of it as
Yeah.
much as you can. Labs, whatever. Like get it all out there as much and as fast as you can.
Yeah.
If
And
you
just
have
start.
access to care, it's already such a huge, unfortunately, it's a luxury for a lot of people here in the United States to have access to care. So if you have
Totally.
it, take advantage of it.
Yeah. And if it's harder, then spread them out, but just do them, just get them on the calendar.
Agreed. Do it. I'm
Yeah.
glad you're doing it.
So do those things. And yeah, just in general, this whole year, I've just been like trying to just stop making excuses about things. So, like, we're getting our trees maintained like on our property, which
yeah.
we've been putting off.
Like stuff is like gonna fall on your house if you don't take care of it.
Or it's just gonna be way more expensive. Well, yeah, if it falls on my house, that's part of it. And just creating more or kicking more problems down the road. So
Mhm.
if you have a list of just annoying things that you don't want to do, like we've been needing our sprinklers repaired, but we didn't have a good guy, and we just like started researching and just handling. So
Mhm.
handle it.
Yeah, sometimes even the person who's not really great is better than having the thing not fixed or working at all or like whatever is the problem. Like you're just like the sprinkler thing is like you said, like, can we just get any guy? Just
But it's
something,
also
even
not
if it's
that.
not
But go on Facebook, start searching. You'll find if you see the same name more than twice, then okay, call that person.
just yeah, get started.
Like,
You can always bring someone else in later, but
yeah. So here's to that. That's like the fall energy that I love too, of
uh-huh.
like fixing things up for winter and battening down the hatches.
Okay.
That's
I hear
your
you on that. Okay,
just
good.
stop putting it off.
Good. Oh, this one's kind of related that I thought about. For any of your stuff, have you seen where they started offering labs with AI assistants, like imagery, like ultrasounds, mammograms, MRIs, all of that stuff? Some of the diagnostic places are now starting to offer AI reviews of the imagery to see if it can find patterns in diagnoses. Have you seen that?
No,
Like
that
there's
doctors don't see.
well, yeah, well what it's looking at is like let's say like for one like if it was a mammogram, they can look at a scan and pick up patterns of when tissue
Change.
may be changing before because it can see
Past.
past results of how things move forward, it can identify something that may be less concerning or not concerning at all now, but may be worth doing another scan or extra imagery or maybe a biopsy because it can detect that, oh, this has a whatever likelihood of being something later, but the original person who views it may not see that same pattern because
Mm.
human error. But I think it's fascinating to see how the bank of knowledge that AI has access to can be really helpful in just calling extra attention to something.
Yeah, because like really, how would a doctor look up 4 scans at once
And do the
and
like,
overlay them
is this better? Is this
mentally?
better? Is this better? Is
Yeah.
this better? Like,
Like even if they physically printed out x-rays or whatever on the light board that I don't even think they
yes.
do that anymore. Like you an overlay that it wouldn't
Yeah. But
you
to be
couldn't
able
do
to
it.
detect changes in density is
Mhm.
easy for a program. Like, oh, this area had less density last time and now it has more. Let's dig into that. Like, why is that? What happened? So I think that's really fascinating to see that,
I mean, maybe they are doing that, but that's also back to my last point. You have to start so they have data
so they
to
need a
track.
baseline.
Yep.
Exactly. So mine is this next one is a little bit about AI on a
Okay.
totally different pivot. But can we just stop using AI and renders in our Instagram feeds and not making it abundantly obvious to people that it is a render or AI generated?
Please.
Like, I know some very big designer accounts where a lot of what they're posting are very photorealistic renders.
And it's wild to me that people don't recognize it, but I do think and
Mhm.
believe that the mass majority of users of Instagram would not recognize a lot of AI renderings. Well, you see it in the comments. They're like, "Oh, where'd you get that light fixture?"
What a
Like,
great room. What color is that? It's like, it's not the fucking real color anyway. Like,
how do you work that sink when there's a faucet coming out of the counter and no actual sink?
it's, I mean, some are more obvious, but some of these renders now,
No, they're
they
getting good.
they look like a perfectly edited photographer's image because we do finish photography with some filtering and some settings that make it feel
Like
a little
enhanced
dreamier.
lighting or
Yeah.
something, yeah.
So now when I see some of these, I'm being a bitch, but I am like, what an amazing rendering. Oh, this is beautiful. Like, what renderer did you work with? Because I'm just shady like that. But I hate that it's out there because there's not always proof that that person can execute that work if all they have is a ton of renders, but then no
Well,
finished
or
work.
get the client. Like, there's so many things to like execute a job. Like, you have to be able to get the
Mhm.
client, do the
Right.
work, like make it at that finish level, get the client to sign off and purchase at that level, like whatever it is. It's actually working in reverse for me now. I just today was following somebody that I follow. He's in Italy and he posted on his feed this amazing stained glass wall that had like arches and it was like multi-story.
Okay.
And I 100% assumed it was AI. Like it was just too fantastical of an image.
Okay.
But then I read what he wrote and like it was in stories, but he's like, I'm getting inspiration for my house. I'm like, oh my
Okay.
God, this is real. Like, but they don't because it's almost it may have been a cathedral or something.
Oh,
So I assumed it was AI because it was too beautiful, but it was
like too
actually
good to be
real.
true.
Yeah, but it was actually real.
I believe there are beautiful real spaces.
Well, there are.
I need them to be more obviously called out. I feel like this is an ethics and an integrity issue. And this is my hot take. I believe people are doing it intentionally to be deceptive. The ones who aren't
To make
saying it,
themselves look better
correct.
deceptively.
It feels very deceptive on purpose. There's like an intent behind, like, some of the captions are literally like, take a look at our whatever project. And you're like, mm, we also would refer to a finished photo from it as look at this project, look at our ABC
Right.
project. You would say the same thing. So what would be the cue to anyone seeing it that is a different thing somehow?
Yeah. No, it totally drives me crazy too. And it's implied creativity that's not theirs. Like there's some
Uh-huh.
skills that aren't theirs. There's so many things that you're not like you can maybe write a creative prompt or have something in your head, but
Right.
that's not finished work. It's a definite different
It's
road to get
another
there.
ick. It's another ick on top of it.
It is. Just post your own stuff, guys. And
And if
that's
you're
not and this isn't saying don't use AI because we've had episodes and we've talked
yeah,
about the tools that you can use AI for. Like there are definite reasons and ways to use these renderings to concept or inspire a client or get a conversation going.
I think you totally should use them. Just make it clear that they are
I mean,
not real spaces yet.
yeah.
That's all I really want people to say is this is a
Also,
fantastic rendering for a project we're working on. Here's some inspiration we've been building. Like, that's okay.
yeah. This is how we use it in our process.
I don't yeah. It's just the deceptiveness that's getting to me.
I
I'm just not happy with
I
that.
agree, and it's usually accounts that you're like
Cringy.
questioning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I already question anybody anyway all the time, but then this makes me just really have there's a huge lack of credibility for sure.
I agree.
Okay.
Just stop. I know I talk about this all the time, but I just like to check in with my successes because this is very hard for me.
Okay.
So just stop doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
Part 45. I just have to like feel like I'm making progress in this. I know a lot of you out there have the same affliction. So recently I had a photo shoot for a big project, like one of my bigger projects to date that I was really proud of. And typically I would be doing all of the styling and handling of the day myself, maybe bringing in an extra set of hands for schlep.
Mhm.
But I hired a stylist and it was very, very helpful.
What
She
did they all
was
do?
great. She did mostly it was just day of, so I didn't have her bring she did bring stuff from her own collection, but I didn't have her shop for me or anything because I'd already kind of done a lot of it. So she brought in florals, and then she was there all day with me styling florals, but also just styling the rooms with me. So, and like helping with photography and looking at the shots we were getting and making adjustments. And we had like quickly, we were able to like see the same things, and it was great.
Like there's like a little bit of emotional relief on that day then, having someone who's like another set of eyes.
Yeah. And body. Like I can't
Go
be
move
looking
that,
at the
go do
camera
that.
and moving things. And I know from talking to other designers, we all handle photo shoots differently and have a different level of involvement, but I'm pretty hands-on.
Can you imagine?
I see a lot of like small things that I always want to adjust. So
Yes.
it was great. I was still exhausted, but definitely felt like I had a better result and felt more confident at the end of it.
Was it, I don't know how much you're willing to share. What did you think of the financial investment in it?
It was worth it. I mean, it was about the same what I paid the photographer, but my photographer isn't super expensive. So I think it was worth it because the level of this project, I wanted it to look appropriate.
Yeah.
Like if it was just a little bathroom or something, like I wouldn't have done it. But
Because you want more of this.
yeah, it was
Like,
like custom furniture. They were really big rooms too. So I didn't need a lot of stuff, but I did want it to feel, I don't know, appropriate, I guess.
yeah, like fully finished.
Mhm.
Trying to think of a few designers that I know who've used stylists, and they've all been projects that they're like, I want to do more of this, or I'm going to try to publish this in print somewhere. So I'm really like investing in
Right.
it. So it is that sort of, I want this to look its absolute best for its picture day. And it makes sense to spend more on it.
Yeah, it was a wonderful project and a great opportunity for me, and it felt very much my vibe. Like, it was, like, one of the rooms I kept saying, like, "I love this room, like, I would live in this room, like, this is a room I would want."
Oh, I love that.
So, that definitely I just didn't want to, like, ruin an opportunity, you know?
Absolutely. No, because yeah, you're only going to do the shoot one time and you want to get it right. And
And
you didn't want to work that hard leading up to it
well,
for all the stuff
that,
they had
like,
to do.
I'm so, you know, had a pretty full summer, like I was saying, and I'm not hiring a full-time employee or anything like that. So I just
Mm.
really have to find these chunks of things that make sense for me to hand off
Yeah.
and do it. I do have she was more virtual. I'm meeting her once a week. She's been doing more hours for me too. I'm trying to train her on a few more things. And it's still hard. It's still like I'm not spending enough time with her that she can be fully trained. So it's just always this double-edged sword of no one can do it because I'm not letting it go.
Okay.
So, but I have been pushing myself to do more. I'm still working on outsourcing drawings. It's still a little bit hard for me to get the timing right on that.
Yeah. Because when you need it done.
Yeah.
Like,
Or like, right, I want to be able to pass a project back and forth where they do stuff and then I like, especially this whole house that I'm working on, like I need to be able to keep I'm not done with the rooms, but I needed a framework started. So
yeah, because you're in there
daily.
daily while you're working everything out. I know
So
that's
I
what
need
gets a
to
lot of
pass it
people.
back to them, but now I'm like, shit, I can't let go of it.
You don't want to.
Well, I have to stop working in it while they have it, or the files will be not, you know,
Yeah.
the same. So that's the kind of hard part.
That's the dilemma.
And I'm not asking. I need to just be like, hey, when can I give this to you to do some stuff? And on a day that you can turn it around, basically.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. Communicating.
Well, and just like getting it all, like buttoning up the stuff that they need to really materially do a lot of work where they're not coming back to you constantly or having to stop. And then suddenly what should have been like a 2-week prep time for something becomes like a month.
Right. And they're great. Like I have a great relationship with the girl who does the actual drawings. Like I could just say, hey, can we schedule a Zoom and I'll go through room by room and she'll take the notes. I don't even need to do anything, but
yeah,
I just keep putting it off because that is my default to just do it.
Just jump in.
So I'm going to just stop trying to do that. This is my accountability cry for help. I am doing better though. So
I know you are because it's like been a long time coming to get there. That's the part. Like it's a hurdle. It's an emotional hurdle. It's also like
financial.
The time and like financial, you need like a bit of a nest egg ahead of that to keep them going and like to feel like you're not stopping them. So it's like there's a lot of pieces, but it does help us when you start having it to just be able to pass things off and know that you'll iterate.
And I definitely understand but like the almost necessity to just bite the bullet and just hire somebody full time that's just going to shadow you and learn all the things. Because that's the problem is I don't have enough like continuity with any one person.
Yeah, it really
does
always
back
need to be
on
the same.
me.
Yeah, it needs to be the same person a lot.
Not there yet.
It takes time. It takes time. We'll get there. Yeah. I'm glad that you're doing it though.
Doing stuff.
Gotta get help. Hey designers, are you feeling isolated?
Maybe looking for some more community?
That's why we created our Loyal Hottie membership.
So for just $10 a month, you get the following.
We give you all the real conversations with other designers. Every month, we host a Hottie Hangout live on Zoom.
Once a month, me and Shaun do an exclusive episode. This is the less filtered hot tea version of the podcast with video.
Yeah, because you need more of that.
You do.
And we have a private Facebook group that's just for the loyal hotties. It's a safe place where they all connect and share information and resources with each other.
You can find it at www.patreon.com/HYDC to sign up.
Okay, this is just like I hope there's some listening, actually. I hope they're listening. The vendors and the reps who reach out and they're like, we think it's like the same thing every time. It's like, we saw your blah, blah, blah project. And it's like always the first one it's like the first one they see when they go to your homepage, you know? So they're just like, oh, fill in the blank project name. And we think we'd be a great fit to work with you. And we love partnering with a designer or this or whatever. And then honestly, like, here, use this link to schedule a call with us. It is the grossest thing to me to get an email like that where it's like, you are almost making it personal, which I appreciate, but the rest of it is very evident that it is just this form email. And then if you go to try to like go to their website, no information about their trade program or their pricing. No, like everything's locked behind a login. So the only way to get information is apply for the account and or you have to talk to someone to find anything. And I appreciate keeping things exclusive for designers, but to the degree that like a rep is reaching out to me, if you already looked at me, saw that I'm a designer and want to work with me, I think you should maybe give me a little more information about your business and how it works and the pricing model and or
so they're just not giving you any information.
No, but they all do that. That's all like, I get the exclusivity, but I do not have the time or interest in getting on a call with you if I've never worked with you before. Like
or heard of you.
Whatever you're trying to pitch me is going to have to be so monumental and big and exciting for me as a designer to be like, holy shit, this vendor, I can't believe I've never seen them before. It's so, I have to do this. Like How many of those have you had, honestly?
Well, it's also, though, they have to be hitting you personally at the right time.
And how many of them are ever doing that? Like,
It
the
happens to me
odds.
sometimes where I'm like, "Oh, actually, I am looking for something like this."
But
But
it's like
it's rare.
it's
I mean, I think any of
being
those
blindfolded trying to hit a bullseye, and they're just hoping that this goes somewhere. But
I think any of those outreach emails, I mean, I get I don't know how many
a
a
lot of
day,
them.
and a lot of them are just, like, bullshit, like renderings or,
Oh, yeah, bidding services and
SEO, like, of, like, people it just doesn't look, like, legit.
mhm.
I But you reply to them all, don't you?
Not all of them, but some of them I tell them I hold on, let me read this one.
I
Hold
never
hold
reply
hold on.
unless I want it.
I have hold on. I have I have one who reached out, and I said, because I got this pitch, and it was like a very generic sounding email, and I said, "I just wanna share some feedback with you about your email, and hopefully it helps as you reach out to other potential partners. Your email sounded AI generated, which is very distracting, and it's not the way I'd wanna communicate with an architect, an engineer, or a draftsperson. I'd really prefer to develop a relationship personally with your lead designer or your principals who we would be working with or our clients would be talking to. So if you have someone like that, feel free to have them call me. My phone number is in the signature. We do not accept commissions for any types of referral relationships with architects or draftspeople. I hope this is helpful."
I would never.
And guess what? The principal architect replied to me.
I bet he did.
And but I'm just like, your little dipshit employee who sent this out, it was such a form and fill type of email. And it's that whole, are you available for a 15-minute Zoom? No,
No, I am not.
no, I'm not. No. And what would make me want to like be cold called by an architect? Because I know how this works. The architect wants me to refer to them. That's what this is really about.
Right.
That's why they're reaching out. They want me to like them to refer them into my projects. And
Right.
I understand how the game works, but
What's in it for you?
what's
Like,
in it for
why?
and that's why their like implication is sort of alluding to like basically this like commission based type of structure. And it's like, I'm not going to refer to you if I know nothing about you or your credibility or your work quality or the way you do things with clients just to make like a small commission check off of it. There's zero benefit to me of that, especially to start a relationship.
Right.
So, and I
So are you
wouldn't
gonna
want them
tell
referring me in, not knowing anything about my business and be handing me
well, it's the same
projects.
thing, you'd
Like,
still be working with them and you don't know.
I don't know anything about them.
Did you talk to the guy?
I told him that he should send me information about what he's trying to talk about. I'm like putting the burden on them. Like, I'm happy to talk with you. You need to send me what you want to talk about before I get on a phone call and like waste my time. Like, I just generally feel like we need to just stop wasting people's time. Like, get
Oh,
to the point, give them the information, let them look at something. And I feel the same way about designers who are like, if you really need work, but your website is so exclusive that nobody can find any information who might want to work with you, they're not going to keep reaching out. Like,
right.
if you don't,
Don't make it hard.
but if you don't need that much work, make it as exclusive as possible.
Lock it down. Well, and that's what you assume when you look at sites like that. Yeah, I mean, I guess to kind of combine our points, like if you're just on a fishing expedition, then make whatever the little treat is at the end of the line something if you do find the one person who's looking for that service that
Uh
day,
huh. Uh huh.
make it, yeah, something digestible. Because otherwise, like, don't make me do work too. Like, you
It's
kidding? You're knocking on my door. Like, get out of here.
and that's how I feel about, especially another one I had was from like a furniture vendor, and they sent a lookbook, and they're like, "This would be great," but no details about their pricing. There's nothing on the website about
Yeah,
how the
that gets
pricing
harder.
program. But it's like, call me maybe, or send me an email with something of actual value that I can ask you about. But I don't want to. I don't want to have the burden is then on me to like I need to book another call with you and follow up with you. You need my business. That's the way this one is working.
Right.
So you should chase me.
Well, if somebody's doing the chasing.
I just feel like an email is not going to get most of our attention unless you have a ton of time to be in your email and investing in that.
No, or again, if you happen to be like, oh, I've been looking for a pair of red suede pumps. Like,
and what are the odds? Like, you're like one in a whatever that you're going to get that person at the exact moment that they're like, you know what? I've been looking for a better case goods vendor or something like.
And sometimes that's true. Yeah, I've been looking for a new case goods vendor that does custom color matching to any
And
color.
if one showed up in your inbox, you might then book that call. But it just seems like such an ineffective way to email market, hoping you get that one in a million. I mean, does it?
I don't know. Everyone still does it.
Okay, but like this is what they used to tell us at it's not the only place that did it, but the bank would do this where the idea was 100 times 0 is still 0. So the thought was like, if you make 100 phone calls and it turns into nothing out of all 100, that means it's not effective. The result will always be 0 if it's not effective. So I think that some of this, I would really be curious what the effectiveness is of all of that email-y, generic, formy type of stuff of like, is it worth it for all of that? And they get 1 out of every 100? Maybe. But I think some people think this works still, so they just keep doing it.
Yeah, because it's that old school sales mentality of like, get on the phone. You just got to be picking up that phone and
dial for dollars.
Yeah, like, I mean, that does work if you have a qualified list.
Correct.
Ooh, have you started watching Industry yet?
No.
Have you seen it at all?
No.
Oh my God. It's so good.
Okay, I'm putting it on my watch list.
Oh, you'll love it.
I have
it's like they're in a bank.
I have a Apple list
that
Shaun and I use where it's the watch list and we have TV, we have movies, and we have different categories so that way we can add things into our rotation.
Season 3 just came out. It's on Max and it's about these finance.
Kit Harington, my boyfriend?
He's in the new season.
Oh.
It's like super crazy high pressure finance stuff in London.
Okay. Sold.
But why was I going to say? Oh, because they're just always like, get on the phone, call your list. Like, because they're like trying to sell people stocks. I don't know what they're doing. I don't totally get it. I barely grasp it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like that Wall Street or like real estate, like just pick up the phone. I don't know. They're always just yelling about that.
But that's what, I mean, honestly, like I've had reps show up and knock on my office door. I'm sure that that's not always effective for them. But like if I'm here and available and I have the minutes, I will at least say, yeah, hand me the brochure. Let me ask you some questions about your pricing, your shipping, your stock, whatever, kind of like what we do at market.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
I don't mind if I have the time and space. And there have been some where they're like, do you have a few minutes? I'm like, I really don't right now. If you want to leave something.
You actually have, though. You've gotten a couple good leads actually that way.
I have.
One of them that I'm buying a lot from right now.
Wait, who?
Redford House.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm going to get the next level pricing.
Already?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So.
Dang, okay.
I'll let you know.
Good.
Take an extra.
But that one was one too where it was just like
ding dong ditch.
Ding dong. Yeah. Ding dong. And the rep it's like, okay,
But they don't show at any. We're giving a little plug for Redford House right now, but they don't show at any markets. Like that's kind of a fail in our books. But
I feel like it's a miss that they aren't anywhere. Yeah.
Because they do have kind of an interesting line that's different.
Mm-hmm. And for me, it's appealing because they're here out of like greater Los Angeles, which is helpful if you're West Coasty.
It's helpful for me too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So, I mean, I just want all unsolicited emails to just stop.
I know.
But it just like flows like water. It's just like a river running past me. Like some days I'll catch some things in there, and some days like shit, that's gone.
The promotions tab of my Gmail inbox, it separates like primary, promotions, social. Like it has little dividers. There's 569 messages in the promotions section. It's nonstop.
Oh, from today?
This is the month of August. So 2 weeks. We're recording this like mid-August right now. So yeah, the month of that's just, come on.
Yeah. So I have 551 unread messages in my email.
Are a lot of those like promotion newsletter type things?
No. Some of them are.
I might have a problem there. You might have a problem. It's
just like too many messages.
It's a lot of things going on. Yeah.
Okay. So one more.
Yeah,
okay. So I went on a trip this summer with my friend and Cecily before school started. And basically my friend lives in Chicago now, and we just wanted to meet somewhere kind of in the middle, which is tricky between Sacramento and Chicago, because I also didn't want it to be hot because it was so freaking hot here.
Yes.
And basically I was like, you know what, let's just explore America. Like, I don't really care where we go. So I like kind of sent it out to Instagram. People give me ideas, and really, I selected our trip based on what cute hotels I could find.
Love it.
That weren't $1 million. And we ended up going to Colorado and stayed in Denver for a couple nights. Have you ever heard of Lifehouse Hotel Group?
I think they just opened one in Palm Springs.
I think they did.
Yeah.
I found an article. I'll try to find it. We can put it in show notes. That was a list of these design forward boutique hotel groups. Like Poly House in there. And anyway, so Lifehouse, I don't know if they're all like this, but this one in Denver was unmanned. Like there was no person that worked there. So it was almost like an Airbnb, but it was a building, and you go into this little vestibule entrance, but it was all really cute, like designed to the nines.
Okay.
And there was like a little monitor touchscreen and a little stack of white key cards.
Okay.
And you just like logged in to your reservation, and then there's a little card scanner. You made your own key.
Oh, you like put it in to program it, kind of?
Yeah, it had like it was almost like a library thing.
All right.
And let yourself into the building and into your room. So that was kind of strange. And I kind of missed having a lobby for what we were doing, but
so that one had no lobby even? It was just like
the lobby was this like your little tiny entrance.
Okay. The one in Palm Springs, I don't know what the process is, but I know they have like more communal lobby space. Yeah.
So they could all be different. But it was a really cute little neighborhood. And the hotel was super, super cute. It had like bunk beds with little curtains, and my daughter loved it. And then we spent a few nights in Colorado Springs, which I didn't really know very much about, but it was beautiful down there. Like the geography is gorgeous. And I seriously picked the town based on finding a cute hotel. So it's like a historic hotel that had just been remodeled called the Mining Exchange. They did a really great job. It was like brand new. Like I think they opened in June or July. So,
oh wow, yeah,
it was like smelled new. And we drove to Aspen one day, which is like, wow, the bougiest place I've ever been. But
the Millionaire's Row.
We did walk into a hotel there called the Jerome Hotel. That was spacing on what group that is. It's the high end.
Like a Conrad or something, or?
No.
Oh, I know what it's the one, they have one in Utah.
There's some in
the Auberge.
Auberge, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so pretty. Like, I just was, like, dying how gorgeous every detail was just in the lobby, like,
Well,
amazing.
like
So,
unlimited budget.
oh god, like, the antiques and custom stuff, and the building itself had this, like, glass, like, skylighted ceiling. It was amazing.
Wait, like the dome in the Titanic kind of?
Yes.
Like
But it was like you were in the lobby, you were inside a what it was actually a courtyard of the building. So above the lobby level, it was all the brick, exterior
Oh,
brick of the building with
yeah.
windows
That's
from, I think, the hallways. But then they glassed the top with, yeah, that faceted
that sounds
gar.
amazing.
So pretty. So I just think like hospitality, please
Can you get your
just stop with ugly hotels. Like, why? Like, they
like
do not okay, the auberge level, like, that was over the top, like,
sure.
those rooms are 1,500 a night minimum,
Right.
but, like, the Mining Exchange where we stayed in Colorado Springs, like, all they did was put a cute wallpaper on the back bed wall and nice furniture and, like, green tile in the bathroom, like, they weren't, like, insane finish levels.
Yeah, it wasn't it's not like it's that much more expensive for what you
No,
just described compared to them finishing out some other type of fixture or something. Like
no,
finishes like a vinyl, the like generic Wyndham Hotel vinyl wallpaper. Like
right, everything
really this is
grayish.
that much more? Like I don't think so. I think you could find another option that would be just as beautiful.
And I would argue would probably sell more. So, yeah, and
I agree.
the lobby was super cute, and you could tell it was a mix of new and, like, vintage. I think it was even, like, vintage still in vintage condition with, like, vintage fabrics on some of the sofas, but it
I
was
like
mixed in
that.
such a way that it felt, like, fresh and cool and super vibey.
I love it. I
So,
agree with you 100%.
I think a lot of these big changes underestimate how many people would more likely go to their hotel if it was cooler. Like, I don't wanna leave my house for shit.
I I don't disagree. I really what I'm confused about is why that's not connecting. Like I don't want to hate on the commercial and hospitality design groups that do these hotels. I
Well, they have a brief that they're getting from
yeah,
somebody.
they're but and to that degree though, I think that there's something that's not translating because even if a group were to bring a really amazing idea to the owners of Wyndham or whatever, I don't think that the people that are actually making the decisions are it's like you have a bunch of Joe Bidens like
Right.
who are like very disconnected from what people actually need right
Never
now.
made a hotel reservation in their life, like, their secretaries or their wives have done it, and they don't even
Yeah.
notice.
And
Yeah.
they don't care
No.
about like they're just like, well, this is beautiful and nice. People should just be happy this is what we did for them. I don't think that there's anybody in these groups, or it doesn't appear to be, who's really like thinking very design forward. So when you have Life House, Pally House, the Graduate Hotel, when you see these other kind of like
Unique.
unique but also like tenacious to make a spot in the market types of groups, like
Mm.
they're doing they I mean even Soho House, like the Soho hotels, but they're making a really big mark for like high-end stuff, right? But like they're making it very clear that there's a perspective and what they're doing and they're trying to make an experience out of it, and for a comparable amount of money the Hilton could be nicer too. Let's just
Yeah, or just have, like, a group hotel group that's
your
design
design forward.
considered. Yeah. I know, I don't really get it, and I would love to know, like, if there's any surveys or whatever of financials, like, did the I'm sure like for the mining exchange, for instance, I'm sure I don't know what it looked like before, but the building was originated in the late 1800s, and I'm pretty sure I have in mind what it looked like before
Okay.
they renovated it. So they have to be doing better and creating more of a destination in town by having that available and like a really cute bar downstairs and coffee bar and
I'm
I
sure it
don't know.
pays off. It has to. I understand that not every hotel can turn into that in the whole marketplace. I get that. I know
No,
there's
but
gotta
like
be like there's still gonna be a Best Western for someone. There's still gonna be a Holiday Inn for someone.
yeah, and just business efficiency. But even
Yeah.
when we went to Hawaii this summer, like I scour like and
Oh
I
my
was just
god.
trying to make it quick and not like over plan, but
Agree.
god dang it. Like and
Hawaii is so
I know
bad.
they have a captive audience and it doesn't probably matter to
It
them.
does though.
Yeah, so I found like the most design forward one I could afford, but it still was fine. Like it
No,
was
they're
the
not.
hotel was beautiful, but the rooms are just always fine, you know?
I feel like most of Hawaii is still stuck in the 90s.
Most of it is bad.
Yeah.
Like this is giving me the ick.
Yes. It is. I'm really stuck on that. Like I would travel to more places, but I also think you could
Yeah.
convince people that, especially because we're at this phase where most of the hotels are junk, you would be convincing a lot more people to pick your hotel first if it was even just 10% better. You would be increasing your bookings over neighboring hotels.
Especially in this Instagram economy, like we still want things to be good for social media, you know? Like
Well, even
I
just
do.
if I'm now gonna in this economy spend the money I am to go somewhere and travel somewhere, I want it to be nice when I get there.
Well, and I don't want to, or I'm not going to spend $3,000 a night. Like it's just not possible. So
Mhm. Not
make
yet.
good design more accessible. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it.
If we could
Just
just stop
stop
with
with
the
the
ugly
ugly.
hotels.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
Airbnbs. I'll throw that in.
I mean, I don't wanna make this the episode about this, but I am secretly cheering on the decline of Airbnb.
Like you want it to go back to all hotel?
I just think Airbnb lost their way. I think that I don't feel like they kept I think they had to change their focus to profitability at some point, and it lost the way of like what was so good about them in the first place was that they were so much cheaper than
Well, it's cost
hotels
prohibitive now, almost always, unless you have a big group.
and the fees of it all, like the clean everyone
Crazy.
complains about the cleaning fees, and I hear you, but for me, the base price of most of the places is so wild now that I don't think it makes sense, and truly, unless you are traveling with, like, a big group for a
Yeah.
week and multiple rooms just doesn't make sense for the way everyone is traveling, like, yeah, you don't get a lot of family togetherness on a vacation if you're in all separate hotel rooms all day, I get it, but
And there's I'm gonna blow your spot, but there's not fucking mice running in the halls
oh,
and
yeah. That was rough. We stayed in Paso Robles for a friend's 50th, and we were in the middle of farm country. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any animals, but when I tell you guys, we
not
we
in my room.
we had we everyone saw the mice during the day, like running across the floor. We captured 4 inhumane traps and then released them,
So they
and
could come back
then
later.
well, that's what I was joking about because we had a few people who were a little more
I mean, it's rough. Yeah.
protective of wildlife, and I hear you, but they're there for a reason. They're breeding in the house probably. There were for sure a lot of them in and around that, and we were surrounded by 160 acres of farmland. So I know they're
Right.
still going to be there, but there could be a little bit better pest control being that we were at a very big expensive house for a weekend.
And maybe like seal up some holes in the
It
house.
there's the house probably needs to be professionally like closed off for a while and have like because you
Fumigated.
well, actually, turns out, no, you should not fumigate if you have rodents or pests because wherever they die, when that happens, they're in the walls or in the ceilings
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they smell. So you're better off sealing things as much as you can and then trapping. So that way they're out.
Mm.
But you have to, like, for them, they'd have to stop renting the Airbnb. It was actually, this is the one thing that's kind of embarrassing for them. It is on Airbnb, but it was actually rented through Marriott residences, which is like Marriott has select large residences that are supposed to be like premium. Like they have stuff out in Rancho Mirage in Palm Springs on there, but it's supposed to be like a more strict process to get listed there. So one of our friends handled that. I will hope that they get something back for that. I'm letting them handle it. Other than that, though, it was a nice weekend, but it was not luxury having to deal with that. And it was a
No.
very McMansion type of style, which could have totally been made better.
Cheap furniture. Yeah, and I know a couple people that have stayed at Airbnbs that were, like, gross, like,
Mhm.
not clean, and that I just can't. Like, I can't sleep in someone else's bed if I think it's, like, used.
Yeah.
Like, that just gives me the biggest ick ever, so
Mhm.
it's a little risky in
It
that
was
way.
rough, yeah. So Airbnb in general, I'm like, not as big of a fan anymore, and I do think that they've contributed a lot to, like, how the unaffordability of housing,
Right.
and I think that it would be fair for a lot of those houses to go back to available inventory for people to rent or to own, and it wouldn't be super harmful if there weren't as many whole homes available to rent
Well, a
when
lot of
you go out of
cities have
town.
really shut that down, the limited permits and stuff. Like Tahoe, there's very few
Yeah. I'd
permits
like it if it was more
left anymore.
strict in so many more places. Canada had something about no, theirs was a tax on unoccupied units. That's what I was reading about. In in one of Toronto, maybe? It wasn't like all of Canada. It was like a city municipality determined that they were going to start charging for empty units so
Un
that way.
Like, when they weren't being used?
Yeah, when they're just empty or unleased or unrented, because a lot of people are just
Yeah, it's
buying
crime.
property to invest in it and like hold it as empty. And downtown LA has a similar
Mm,
problem where it's like thousands of housing units are just like in high rise condo buildings are just empty or they're owned by foreign investment. And it's a
hmm.
way to like, it is a long term investment. You just let it sit empty and unoccupied and you wait
Not
10
even renting
years.
it? Yeah,
Yep. And they don't rent it. And I do, yeah. So yeah,
that's good.
here comes my leftist agenda for everybody.
I know, but then,
Tax the
like,
rich,
when
and
I
then we
was
work for the rich.
totally. When I was in Hawaii a few years ago, we stayed in Honolulu, and we were in, like, one of the hotel like, my friends had a trip, and I kinda tagged along. And we were in this hotel and it was so small, like the pool was like a rooftop pool, like the size of this room with kids everywhere. I mean, it was like you couldn't be out at it, like
Ugh.
physically, it was full.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nope, I got to get out of here. Like, I just need like a small little beachy town.
Mhm.
And I guess I would have stayed at a hotel, but like sometimes you just don't want that big like resort vibe. So I don't, but Oahu had a huge change with trying to get everybody to stay in hotel circle or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not it either. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. But
I don't know
I'm
the
sure like
answer,
for small
but
towns it does like drastically impact the local communities who have nowhere to live.
it's definitely doing that. Like,
Yeah.
especially because we were in Paso and one of the drivers we had a couple times in a row, he said that it's almost impossible for anybody to find housing there now because there's so many people who are renting houses to go to the vineyards and do all of that stuff that it's pushed the market so hard that
And
it's
they don't have a lot of hotels there.
no. And they have some, but not enough. And I do think that a lot of people who visit are probably like we were, where you're in groups or with families and you want to be with each other
Yeah.
and not in a hotel. And yeah, he's like, I know so many people who can't find a place to live or they have to have a lot of roommates because the place they can find is too expensive. And it's just hard. In general, I'm like, but I kind of like the hotel vibe. Clean, clean towels. Someone can pick up the room for me. There's usually some amenities on site for me.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's case by case for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Should we just stop?
Just stop. Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah, I think we did it. So let us know if you have some more just stops. We'll toss them into the mix and
Sound
save
off,
them.
hotties.
Sound off. Give us yours. Drop them in the comments or DMs for us. You know where to find us. And until next time,
stay hot, designers. Thanks for listening to the Hot Young Designers Club podcast.
For more on what we talked about today, check out the show notes.
Your support helps us grow, so share with your design besties.
And subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Our conversations continue on Instagram.
And be sure to download our monthly resources on our website and our Patreon.